So we're back in the house. We've recovered 3 hearts thanks to the save and quit mechanic. It does penalise you when you've got a lot more hearts, but as we are right now, I don't see why we shouldn't abuse it. Saying that though, oh man, a second thought tells me I should have probably spawned at the sanctuary so we can deal with this mushroom. But we're here now, so I suppose that's 6 and 2 threes. It doesn't really matter which way you go, the both sort of take. So we've lost our mushroom. We can come back for it after the first dungeon, and I believe there'll be an item win for us, but I won't be back until after the second dungeon when we have a reason to come back. Because if you saw to the right of the house there was a big boulder. After the second dungeon we can lift it, but until then we're pretty much stuck. And here we are, finally approaching our first dungeon. It's only taken like, what, 20 minutes or so? I'm sure it'll be fine. So, one of the reasons why I love the boomerang is just for... it hit him, but didn't... Okay, so... I love the boomerang for reasons like that when it works, but I don't know why that didn't work. So here we have one of the absolute worst parts in any dungeon. I'm not even lying, it's just awful. I don't know why they did it. And what you're looking at, there's the extra 100 rupees I talked about before. I say this is one of the worst parts because if you've played this part in the Game Boy, you'll know that you have literally no time to react to the incoming balls, the incoming metal balls, and it's awful. Like at least there you can sort of see them and you got a bit of reaction time. But in the Game Boy Advance version, which I'm sure I will put in later for editing and have a side-by-side comparison of just how evil it really is. Regardless, if we head to the right, we do get the map, which if we press X, we can then see the entire dungeon. So we're in this big room now. Okay, yeah. I was curious what those 2 darkened rooms was in the bottom right. But yeah, I remember now, so it's all good. One thing I do want to show off is in this room there is a little glitch you can do where if you know where the enemy will spawn, you can actually hit them before they've spawned. And instead of dealing with 4 skeletons, you only have to deal with 2. It's not too big of a deal, but once again, it just saves time. And here we head to the extra 2 rooms that I had completely forgotten about. So I normally always throw a pot there because you can guarantee 9 times out of 10 there'll be a skeleton there. But he's been proving me wrong lately, so I'm gonna have to have words with him. there is a way to do this room very quickly. Basically, it just involves getting damaged towards the pot and then just reacting so quickly. I mean, it's not even like that quick, but I'll show off the normal way. One thing I do want to say, when I did first play through this game, I was quite young, and since this game only gives you a key and then uses it, the fact that you get to this point and then all of a sudden you have a key that you can use over and over and over sort of got to me. Like, I honestly thought you needed multiple big keys because the game's never done that to this point. And it's just sort of like, well, that's not a feature, you haven't told me that's a feature, so why would I think that's a feature? So, remember that target of 500 rupees? Yeah, I think we're gonna be pretty safe. I don't think we're gonna have any worries. Oops. Ah. So yeah, as seeing those enemies take off both health and magic, they can be a pain in the later dungeons, but here it's not too bad because we don't really have anything that requires magic. Come on, yeah. Now, as for these red ones, we've seen the green ones, and you can use a pot or your sword if you're desperate. But with these red ones, you have to use the bow. Ah, I was trying to get both of them at once. And we've come to our first boss. I was gonna say it's so easy, and then I took a heart and a half, well, a heart worth of damage. So I don't think I'm allowed to speak about how easy this boss is and or isn't. And we've achieved our first pendants. Gotten 6 hearts now. I believe we're just a little bit off. Oh no, we can actually get 7 hearts before the next dungeon. Oh, go away. So as we saw from that pendant, it did say to take it to Sahasrara. That's the elder who is currently living in this shack. He gives us a nice little item. And this will help with our quests a lot, because then we can just dash everywhere and it saves so much time. Well, it saves so much time if used correctly. Obviously if you're only using it on short stretches, then there's literally no point to it. Like if we used it on there, it would probably just take more time than what it would otherwise. But using it somewhere like that. So before we head to the second dungeon, we actually have to head back to Kakariko. Well, just south of Kakariko, I should say. Otherwise, we won't be able to progress. Which makes me sad. No, actually, I said we could get a 7th heart before the 2nd dungeon, but I think I'll leave that until after. Just because one, the heart piece is a little bit out of the way. It's not massive out the way, but it'll just be easier to show it off later. So we need the Pegasus boots to get to the book, to get to the 2nd dungeon. Which is a whole load of shit. Well, I should totally went around it there. Oh god, how I love the boots. So what we want to do now is we want to head back into the Great Swamp. I think I made a boo-boo. Nope, this should be okay. Which means that we can now head down into this little passageway, which will lead us to the Great Desert, which will take us further into our journey. Only after we get a heart piece. Which is just through here. Which once again requires bombs. Oh. The amount of things that need bombs in this game is actually beyond a joke. So we can get one more heart piece in the desert. It's not accessible to us just yet, but we're not too far away from it.